Okay, so here's the video on calibrating the pH meter. So this is the pH meter I got. So I just went out and bought a decent one. You can't mess with the pH meter. I did buy the cheap ones for $10 online. I went to my friend's house and it turned out the satchels that it came out, the calibrating powder, I had somehow lost it along the way, because you get all these shipments in the mail, you open it up and you think, oh my God, how am I going to do that? And you throw it in the drawer. So I lost the calibrating fluid and we were so confused about the instructions. Half of it was in Chinese and some of it didn't really make sense. So I went out and I just bought a decent one. Cost me $60. Now, with the calibrating fluid, there's all different ones. There's there's powders. I just found a pH 7 liquid solution does it. It's the easiest way, and that came as part of this. Now this has instructions in it, and it has a little screwdriver. So what you do first is you rinse it under water. Dry it with a paper towel. And then you're going to put that in the solution. I'm just going to tip it up on its side until it stabilizes. So that's coming up as a 7.3. So now what I'm going to do is get the little screwdriver and you just bring it down to 7. Now what this calibrating fluid is it has a pH of 7. So therefore, when you dip something into it, the pH meter, you adjust it so that it reads a 7 when you have it dipped in. Now your pH meter will lose its calibration, and I just wipe that and then dry it off. And put it back in here. Now this is meant to stay wet inside. I noticed it was actually dry earlier on. I need to look up, there's conflicting things on whether or not to put distilled water in that foam or normal water. I think I just went with normal water because it says here, the sponge and the protection cap should always be wet by adding clean water. So hopefully it hasn't been dry for too long. So that pH meter is now calibrated. Put those parts back in there. Okay. So now I'm going to test the pH of this solution. Now it's telling me a 6.0. 5.8, 5.7. I want to get a stronger HOCl solution. Now there's all these different articles that say you add the vinegar first, you add it later. But if you look at the concept on how to make HOCl, how a HOCl comes about, it's all about the pH level. So therefore, what's in there at the moment is all free available chlorine. Some of it's bleach, some of it is, but most of it is HOCl. Because if I have a look here on my diagram, here, if we look it up here, I have a pH of 5.5, so most of that's actually HOCl. I could stop with that, but I'm just going to show you. Just going to put a cap in. And so that hasn't made much of a difference. I'm going to put, I'll just try one at a time caps. Now that's come down to a 5.2. I will actually use that HOCl. That is mostly HOCl. Okay. So let's test this Epsom salt solution and let's see if it's lost its chlorine yet. Because this is Epsom salt and HOCl. Oh, it hasn't lost its chlorine yet. So I'm actually, that's somewhere between 500 and 1,000. It could be a bit stronger. Maybe I'll put more HOCl in than the Epsom salts. The reason why I say it could be a bit stronger is as soon as I add the sodium alginate, it loses some of its strength. So you need a good strong HOCl to get started. Anyway, I'll give it a try at that, so because that's something we can actually measure in this experiment. Okay, so you're gonna need one of these, a funnel for everything you do. They come in handy for literally everything. I'm going to pour that HOCl into here. And it's very strong. I can smell it. It's super strong, like the smell. And you want it super strong, don't worry, it isn't bleach. Providing you have calibrated a pH meter properly. Don't use chlorine pH strips. They do not work for making a proper HOCl. So let's make another batch. So the instructions usually say, in a boil out kettle, the instructions usually say, I don't know,